Nigeria's telecommunications companies have lost an estimated 19.2 million subscribers since the federal government began the linking of the national identity number with SIM cards, according to new industry statistics released by the Nigerian Communications Commission on Tuesday. Subscriber base fell from 207.9 million in November 2020 to 188.7 million in April 2021. As far as the biggest losers, MTN led the way with losses of about 7.2 million subscribers, followed by Airtel, Globacom, and Nine Mobile. Ugo Aliogo joins us now to discuss further. He's a public policy analyst. Ugo, good morning to you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
What do you make of these? Let's start with the telco numbers and the fall in subscribers. How do you see it?
It's really bad for the sector, the telco sector, the telecommunications sector, because this is a sector that in Q1 it recorded a growth rate of 14.91%. That was its contribution to the GDP. So, and then its growth rate improved from Q1 2020 to Q1 2021. So it's a bad precedent for the telecommunications sector. However, I think there should have been better harmonization on the linking of the NIN with the SIM card. There should be proper discussion and proper engagement with the telecommunication companies on how to fast-track the registration process better, and then on how to drive the linkage better. Because there are still, from December 2020 till now, till January, February 2021, when the order was placed in December till now, there are still lines that are inactive because most Nigerians have not registered for their NIM. And then if you don't have that NIM, you cannot activate a new SIM card. You cannot activate a new SIM. So it's affecting the registration process. So I think what should have been done prior to now was that there should have been better harmonization. There should have been better discussion with the telecommunication operators on how to drive this process better. The policy for government is good. They have an understanding of what they want to drive with the policy. But I think the telcos were not carried along. There was no proper conversation along that line on how to fast track this and then make it better. Because the telcos are losing. Quite frankly, they've lost a lot of monies. They've lost a lot of investments in that area.
Indeed. And let me make sure I heard you correctly. The GDP growth for ICT, it was 14%.
Yes.
In Q4 20, it fell actually. Sorry, I want to make sure I got you correctly because actually ICT actually fell. It was 14% in Q4. Yes. It fell to 7.4 or so in Q1. So it actually fell. ICT growth, GDP growth actually fell. So I think that this is, if we're tying it into what we're seeing with the subscription numbers falling, then it all comes together with these figures actually falling. But to your point on public policy,
yes,
the government was trying to. It was a security initiative. That's what.
Yes, it was a security initiative to track down criminals.
Exactly.
Yes.
But there were consequences in these numbers that we've seen. Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So what my question to you is, okay, you've got a security initiative that you're trying to head off, right? Yes. You're trying to initiate policies so where you get everybody, linking SIM cards and linking NINs. But then you've seen a consequence to where GDP growth for ICT, which is supposed to be a leading sector, is shrinking. The telcos are losing subscribers. So how do you balance it between trying to maintain security in a nation and then not harming the players in a particular sector that you're trying to
so that's why I talked about proper harmonization and then proper engagement with the telcos on this policy.
Okay.
So there are measures they would have put in place. There are proper discussions they have put in place with the telcos, and then there are things that they can do to drive this. If they had proper discussion with the telcos, I think all of this wouldn't have been an issue. All of this would have been addressed.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I feel. I think now there's need for conversation around this. These laws have been seen. We have experienced loss in this area, but it's not all gloomy. It's not all doom. There's still a way out.
Okay.
And then the way out is to discuss with the players. Now that we have seen these losses, what do we do? What's the way out? Because, like I said, government has its own understanding of this policy. Is to track criminals. It's for security purpose. But I think the measure they put in place, the telcos are not being carried along.
I got you. So are there too many data pools in this country? Can they all be harmonized, or are we going to say, okay, NIN or BVN, and that's where we stick things. How many, as far as the data points, what's your take on as far as the number of them and the need to harmonize?
Again, harmonization would be better.
Yeah.
Because if we do not harmonize, my fear with all these policies is that we'll keep churning out policies. So the new administration will keep churning out policies too. So I think there's need to harmonize policy. There should be a central pool that controls all of this. Okay. And then if we have a central policy that controls all of this, it's going to be harmonized, and then it would be better. So that's my take on that.
What do you make of the Moody's projection that Nigeria is going to lead the way for telco growth in sub-Saharan Africa? Is that just based on population?
Obviously, it's based on population to start with, because we have the population, we have the mass market, and then Nigeria is actually the key, the market for any product you want to launch in Africa. Yeah. Nigeria is actually the central point. We have the mass market, we have the population, and then we have the finance, we have the capital. So the projection is actually very correct in my own opinion. The projection is actually very correct in my own opinion.
Well, I'm glad that we are having a conversation where we've got a research hub that is saying that, hey, Nigeria is going to lead the way for telco growth across sub-Saharan Africa based on these metrics.
Yeah, based on
and then
metrics.
In the same conversation,
yes,
we're having a policy from the very same Nigeria we're discussing that has impacted the very sector that Moody said is going to lead the way across sub-Saharan Africa. So a report is saying that this country is going to do well, but meanwhile, there's a policy from the same country that has reduced the growth of telcos. So
what now when you talk about it's not balanced.
Yeah, now, exactly.
Now let me make some points why it's not balanced. We have challenges in this economy.
Yeah. Did we cause the challenges ourselves?
That's one of the biggest challenge, like I've always said on this show, is
government
power.
Policy. Oh, okay.
Yeah, power is a problem for the telcos. Power is a problem for the telcos. And then there are other structural deformities in this economy that we need to fix. If we can fix those policies, and then if we can address those things. For instance, internet penetration is still very low.
It is.
It's still very low.
In fact, broadband penetration dropped. That was in the NCC report
so from the NCC report.
And the NCC wants to get to 90% broadband penetration
They want to get to
2023.
By 2023. And then, for instance, are we on 3?
And you're 45% now. Are we 40% now?
Yes. Are we on 4G?
No. In fact,
so we pride ourselves that we're on 4G.
There are communities here that are on 2G.
So internet penetration is strictly strong in the bubbles. Abuja,
Lagos,
Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Lagos, Enugu.
Right.
And then if you go to the rural communities, internet penetration is still very low in some of those communities.
Right.
So why can't we improve in internet, especially in broadband penetration in Nigeria?
I wish we had more time. I really do, because another question is, if you're a telco, if this is a telecommunications boardroom and we're talking about expanding investments in rural areas, can you justify putting up a multi-million-dollar cell phone tower in a rural community where, what do they earn there? What is the return on investment on putting it in a community where you're not even sure if the residents there can pay for it? So, we only have a minute to go, but what about the challenges of making those investments in rural areas and expanding it? The challenges of broadband expansion, they are real, right?
One of the challenges, like you rightly said, one of the challenges of making those broadband, if you establish some of those broadband internet in some of those rural communities, what's the investment there?
Right.
How does it pay back the investment that is being invested in some of those communities? So those are what the telcos look at. So they look at places where they put investment, it's going to pay back. So the bubbles, that's where the economy is. That's where the finances flow. So if they put an investment, they know that it's going to pay back. They know that they will not have retailers. They know that they will have wholesalers. So there's a value chain that is bringing back the finances.
Ugo, gotta have you back to have these conversations. Ugo Aliogo, public policy analyst, thank you so much for joining us to talk about the telco growth in Nigeria and across sub-Saharan Africa.